Yo guys, Misty Graveyard, welcome back to another video. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about another quote. Something that has no limits, rules, regulations, barriers, or halts. The full throttle enigma of the imagination. That's kind of long. I'm probably just going to title the video The Full Throttle Enigma of the Imagination. But anyways, so, okay. When we talk about imagination, it's very interesting because it relates to the concept of creation and organic synthesis. And what I mean by that is creating something out of nothing, or original thoughts that you didn't really get from anywhere else. They're just from you. And so pretty much creative thinking and creativity in general is a very rare trait in a lot of, majority of people in the world. I think it's between the average amount of people in the entire world. The statistic is between 0 and 5% of people are actually creative, like by definition of the word creative. So people aren't really willing to kind of reach out there and think about just abstract, out of the box, random ideas that could play a part in anything. They would rather just follow a system, a step 1, 2, 3, ABC kind of deal, and think systematically and logically rather than irregularly. What was that? Irregularly, and just step by step. They'd rather think like that than think creatively. Holy cow, I can't speak today because it's just easier. It's easier to follow a system, especially when you know it works and you don't really have to step out of its bounds because you've seen the results from other people doing it and it's valid, it's reliable, you can easily figure it out, figure your way. The stones are already there, you just have to step on them and cross over to the river, right? With imagination and creativity, you're the kind of person that creates the stones. You're the type of person that figures out if you want them to be stones, or if you want them to be bricks, or if you want them to be clay, or if you want them to be dirt, or if you want them to be pebbles, if you want them to be diamonds, if you want them to be shards of some kind to step over to get to the other side of the river. What happens with creativity is, and imagination, is it's so abstract and it doesn't make a lot of sense, and it's so hard to test in a systematic and logical manner. And it's far, far out there. Now, creativity is one of the main things that is often associated with a high level of openness and intellect. So typically in a lot of highly creative people, they're pretty smart. And what I mean by that is they're able to observe things such as in art and culture and aesthetics and create some kind of visceral story to tell from those things, or some kind of thought processes that are irregular and create very off the charts, very far from normal things. And I think creative people are often heavily swayed towards art and expression for that reason, because they have a way of observing things, reading things, hearing things, and then molding them into this very weird conceptual approach that to the logical person, to the step-by-step person, everyday person, doesn't make any sense. And the way that the world works with, a conveyor belt society where everybody does their job, it's 1, 2, 3, you do what you do, you get paid and you leave. Creative people struggle, and it's really hard for them to find work in this world that's very, because this world is just very stale and boring and dull, and it doesn't leave a lot of room for highly creative and intuitive and intelligent people. I mean, unless you're really conscientious and industrious and you can work up to a highly competent position, such as a professor, a researcher, a whatever, to actually implement the creativity and intellect to what you're doing. But with most people that are just creative, they're just they just want to create stuff. They want to write. They want to read more stuff to get more ideas. They want to look at art. They want to go to museums. They want to go to concerts. They want to express themselves in whatever form of creativity they want. They want to paint, they want to sculpt, they want to do all these forms of expression, and it doesn't really pay any big bucks in the modern day society. It's really hard for them to thrive. And, you know, a lot of people say, well, what do you want to do for a living? It should be using your strengths to their full advantage and doing what you love and what you're good at. The problem with that is these very creative people are very good at making different forms of art, and they're very good at writing, making creative books such as like high fantasy, epic fantasy, fiction, sci-fi, mystery. Like, they're very good at like formulating things. But the thing is, society doesn't want you to really create stuff. It wants you to follow stuff that's already set into motion and held firm over a long period of time. And so it's really hard for these people who are highly imaginative, highly creative, to thrive in a society that's stagnant and firm. Because these imaginative people, they're hard to understand. They want to create their own rules. They want to create their own regulations and barriers. They don't want to, abide by everything that other people are telling them. They want to express themselves. They don't want to have any limits. They want to, if anything, they want to push past and bust through those limits to figure out new things. They want to try new things. They're open to experiences. They're smart, just in different ways. I mean, creative people are some of the most interesting people to talk to. They have some of the most deep, rich ideas, and oftentimes it's very hard for them to communicate these ideas to others because other people just don't care. And I really feel sorry for the creative people out there, the people who are really imaginative, because they have so much going on in their brains. They want to express so much, they want to talk about so much, but they just can't. They can't, and it can be very lonely and isolating if you're very imaginative and stuff. Your brain's just firing on all cylinders, and you want to create so much stuff. You want to, like, I've tampered in like writing my own stories and stuff, and it's just like, well, to be honest, it's kind of hard to find motivation to write and stuff, but and then you like run out of ideas eventually, and that's writer's block and etc. But yeah, it's just tough for highly creative people and highly imaginative people to find their path, kind of. And oftentimes, it sucks for them because they have to compromise by actually studying something that they're not interested in, but society, likes or benefits from. So they'll end up studying something so that they can get a job, so that they can make money in a society, so that they can fund their creative endeavors. And what happens is the main things that they're, inclined towards and have an affinity towards and apparitions towards end up being a side hustle, because society just does not support anything that they want to do naturally or primarily. So that's what ends up happening. And it's really quite unfortunate. You can't really make any money as an author or an artist nowadays unless you get really lucky, or if you're just another Picasso or Michelangelo or Leonardo da Vinci, like whatever. I mean, it's just tough. And oftentimes, creative expression comes with a lot of networking and business and like social stuff, and it can just be a whole difficult mess. But overall, highly imaginative and creative people are hard to understand. They're complex most of the time. They're creative. They want to express themselves through art, through visions that they have, through ideas that they have, through aesthetics that they see, through pictures that they observe, through paintings. They want to tell a story. They want to be creative. And most of the time, it doesn't align with what the world wants, and that's so unfortunate. But yeah, anyways, so that's a little bit about imagination, and its boundless endeavors, its feetful pursuits. It wants to achieve many things. And yeah, I hope you guys found this video interesting, and I will see you in the next one. All right, take care.